If you always regret everything, this is for you. I'm someone that whenever something happens, I regret it. I've been regretting stuff for a long time. And last year, I started thinking of, I need to stop regretting. I need to get rid of this. I need to suppress this. And then I realized something that changed the way I started looking at regret. Because you don't need to suppress it. You need to use it. Because a lot of people like us regret even the smallest things. And when you start suppressing, it gets worse. It gets harder. And one day, it just boils up. But if you use it like a tool in your toolbox, it changes everything. Because you have to use it. Because there's some people that don't regret things at all, but we do. And the best way to change is to use it. Use it for personal growth. Use it to get better. Use it to become a better version of yourself. For me, last year, I wanted to approach people. I wanted to approach pretty girls, ask them out. I wanted to have conversation with random people. And whenever I didn't do what I said I was going to do, say I said I'm going to approach that girl, and I got too scared. I was like, nah, I'm scared. And she walked away, or I missed the opportunity. The whole day, I was just like, oh my God. I missed the opportunity. It doesn't matter. And I started regretting it. And I started saying, I should get rid of this regret thing. Why am I regretting? And I started thinking, why? Why do I have regret? And then it just hit me. Regret was showing me what I really wanted to do. I wanted to approach people. I wanted to change myself. I wanted to come out of my shell. Regret was that alarm that if I didn't have it, I would never push myself. After that, I started thinking, I am different. My body, my mind wants me to change. That is why I regret things more than others. And when that happened, everything started to be clear. I started realizing I'm going to use it like an alarm. Even not just for asking people out or approaching people, even for big opportunities, when stuff happens that I should have done better. I started regretting it. And that's when I realized, okay, mental note. Next time I cannot make this mistake or cannot do this. For example, I have to ask that girl out if I want to, because regret sucks worse for me than fear of rejection. And when that clicked, when stuff started to become clear, I was like, okay, regret's that alarm bell that I cannot make this mistake next time. When I was approaching people, I made that mistake 20 times. Not once, not twice, 20 times. And then I was like, I can't take that much regret. I need to stop. Like, I'd rather get rejected 20 times than take regret 20 times. I think one of the things that I wish I knew was the part of regrets, the thing that allows you to grow. And I believe that once you start looking at regret as an alarm bell, like I said before, it helps tremendously. Because don't reject it. I think a lot of us, what we do is we try to reject regret. Somehow it's hard to say together. Reject regret. And that hurts a lot, because you start thinking of, okay, you start using tactics of how do I not get regret? But I think if you want to reduce the amount of times you regret things, you just have to do a lot of volume. For example, when I wanted to approach people, have random conversations, there were times when I was not able to approach these people because maybe I was with friends that I don't hang out with for a long time, or I was with my parents or something, or they were with a group of people. And I know I could have done it, but I chose not to. And regret still hits me then. But what I do to combat that, when I know that I can't go and approach them, I do a lot of volume. What that does is when you do, let's say 3, 4, 5, 6 approaches a week, or 3 approaches every week, you put enough volume that you don't regret opportunities because you know you're going to do it the next day. For example, right now getting my master's, every time I go to campus, I would approach someone, have a conversation with them. So outside of campus, when like on a weekend, I was with my parents and I wanted to approach someone, but I couldn't. I didn't regret it because I know I'm going to have a next opportunity. Like next week, I'm going to do it 3 times. And when you set up yourself to have more opportunities, to do more things, regret is hard because there's so many opportunities to do it. But I think regret hits a lot. For example, if you found a dream job and then you forgot to apply or something happened, you're going to regret it a lot. That's an extreme example. But to reduce, we can't get rid of it. I already said that before. But if you want to reduce it, it has to be a lot of volume. A lot of doing it over and over again. Because then those small regrets don't happen. Approaching a girl, asking a girl out. If you approach a lot of girls every week and try to approach them, then getting shit scared of not approaching one girl, you don't regret it that much because you know you're going to do it next week. I think a lot of people, what happens is they get okay with feeling the regret or something like that. And I think that sucks because I was thinking, when am I going to be okay with the regret? And then I realized, I looked around with my friends and people I know, is that they don't regret enough to change. If they had more regret of what they did or what they missed out on, they would change. That's when I realized how special I am and how valuable regret is. Is because I heard this Chris Williamson podcast. I don't know who he was talking to. He was talking about things that when it's not that bad. For example, he said, when you have a lot of mold in your house, right, you're going to change. If you're renting it, you're like, I need to change because there's too much mold in my house. But when there's just a little mold or a corner of mold, it's not that bad that you need to change it. But it's not good. For example, if you have a crazy girlfriend or boyfriend, you're going to be like, oh, get the fuck away from me. But let's say they're just not bad. Like sometimes they get mad, sometimes they get crazy, sometimes they're toxic. And that's the thing. It's not bad enough to change. Another thing he said was pretty cool. If you wanted to go 2 blocks, right, you'd walk. The instant you have to go 3 or 4 blocks, you would drive. But you always reach faster driving than walking. And that's the same analogy. It's that when things are not too bad or just good enough, you just stay. And I think a lot of people would value with the regret you have because it's a superpower. The more you regret, the more it's going to force you to change. Like if I didn't regret it, I don't think I would ever change. And in that moment, I said, yeah, fuck regret. I hate it. But the more times you look back in the past, you realize that, oh my God, that was something that I'm happy that happened. I was able to change because regret happens in all stages. It's not that regret is the only regret I'll get over. I'm getting over regret now most probably. Regret of not trying hard enough. Regret of not being that disciplined. Regret of not finishing my tasks. Examples of those. And every stage of personal growth, there are different regrets. And I use them as alarm bells because I go, okay, if I'm regretting this, I really want to do it. I really want to stay on top of my tasks. And when you have that, it allows you to understand that, okay, that is what I need to do. And once you realize what you need to do using regret, you have to go fucking do it because the regret just gets worse and worse and worse. To recap, the 2 things we talked about. 1, can't get rid of it. And the only way to use it is see what you're regretting and you have to do it. The second thing is to reduce the amount of regret you have to do a lot of volume. Because the volume is the thing that's going to be like, if I do that much, then 1 or 2 times I miss it or something happens, I'm not going to regret it. And that is what's important. And I really hope this helped because that took me a whole year to get over. The regret, the anxiety, and not being like, I'm different. And why? But then I realized, I'm different. That's amazing. Thank you so much for watching this video. Also watch my last 2 videos. 1, are you ambitious but overwhelmed? And 2, you have to let yourself go. And I'll see y'all next time.